What is going on, YouTube? This is Captain Calhoun here, and you are on the lifeboat. What is going on? I figured we'd get together one last time today. I know there's been a lot of lifeboat today, but hey, it's hard to keep me away. I will say my eyes started to get real tired as soon as I fired this thing up, so I don't know how long we'll go, but we're going to see how far we can stretch these legs, eh? Andrea Malloy, hello. Jamie Palmer, sweet. Liberty, Jason P., Kristen Melinda, Malva Payne, good to see you guys. I am the Noise Opera. Still not smoking, I assume. Proud of you, dude. Cheeky Brat, hello. Lynn Sanity. What is going on, folks? How's everyone's Thursday treating them? Now I'm like checking. Is it Thursday? It's Thursday. My day was pretty good. I did not do a whole lot other than lifeboat stuff, but that's all right. I did get to finish the 2 towers, and we're gonna try and start Return to the King after this, I think, with some tacos. Taco dinner is on the menu. True Crime Girl, hello, nice to meet you. TKK, good to see you, Anna. You know, I didn't really have a plan other than to hang out with you guys. I figured we'd see how that went. And if it doesn't go well, we'll shut it down, whatever, right? What is that? Don't look. I had tacos earlier as well. Mile High Hokey, good to see you. What is going on? You know, with all the stuff in the news, and it is hard to not see what's been going on, especially when this is pretty much my gig. So not only do I get it from all the lifeboat stuff that I'm doing, but I get it in the ads, I get it in my feed, I get it everywhere. And it is just a nightmare. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't mean a nightmare like I'm having a hard time. I just mean it's a train wreck. It just, you can't look away though, right? It's pretty wild. Hey Spanx, great to see you tonight. Hope you're doing well. I am doing very great today, Danette. I had a rough couple days, but I got some really good sleep last night. I took a good nap today. Had a friend over for dinner a couple nights ago, and gonna have a friend. I'm gonna cook tacos again tomorrow for my buddy. So that should be fun. I'm pretty excited about it. Making friends, not so isolated. It's very good for me. I tell you what. Jamie Palmer bought a whole rotisserie chicken for her and her dad to share. Took a nap thinking my share would still be there when I woke up. Well, it wasn't. My dad enjoyed his and mine. Wow, what a guy. Sounds like my dad. Not that there's, I don't know, yeah. It sounds like something that I would run into with my pops as well. You know, you snooze, you lose kind of thing, right? Literally. Aaron Cooper, what's going on? Good to see you. Tommy Bird. Twice in one day with the Tommy Bird. That's pretty cool. I feel lucky. I feel lucky. But yeah, man, I think I'm going to do some coverage of, or I don't know coverage, but I think I'm going to come on here and talk about the artist Drake a little bit. I've been listening to a lot of the news about him. I've been listening to a lot of music directed at him, but not by him. And it turns out he's got some pretty nasty skeletons in his closet too. Allegedly. Mr. Ray, what is going on? It's been a long time, my friend. How are you? But yeah, a while ago, I was pretty obsessed with that Kendrick Lamar song. What's it called? Not Like Us. I started really listening to the lyrics and not just jumping around and bouncing to the beat, right? And allegedly, there's some pretty nasty skeletons in Drake's closet. We're not going to talk about it today, right? But you have that to look forward to if you're into that kind of thing. Apparently, allegedly, him and his whole crew are groomers and pedophiles, and allegedly, right? I'm not picking any fights here, but just reporting on what I hear, reporting on what other people are also saying. So, which is very interesting to me because I, as far as pop music goes, I was pretty into Drake. But his lyrics and songs take on a whole new light when you look at it through the lens that I've been looking at it through. And it didn't age well, right? It doesn't make it sound better. That's for damn sure. Mo Love, what is going on? It has been a while. How are you? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be around the dog after eating chicken either. Oh my. Dog farts are something special, I have to say. There's nothing quite like a dog toot, you know? And they'll look at you too like, "Hey." They don't get it. It's not weird for them, right? I wonder, I mean, their sense of smell is pretty strong. You'd think they would shy away from such things, but they're into it. Deanna Downey, what's going on? Good evening. Good evening. You know, whenever dogs and chicken are brought up, I used to watch this cartoon when I was a kid called Dexter's Laboratory, and there was a scene. I just remember this one scene where the mom would. I guess Dexter had a dog, and he like made it really smart or something. I'm not entirely sure how it went, but the mom says, "No chicken ricey for the puppy," and that for some reason that one-liner stuck in my head until today, like for my whole life. Very interesting how little cartoon one-liners will do that. Crushik, what's going on? Howdy doody. Welcome in. Tommy Bird says, "I'm just simply a busier kind of fool earlier in the daytime. Sometimes I watch or listen rather while getting my life chit slapped into some kind of order, lol." Yeah, that sounds like me too, man. You just got to slap it around a little bit and it lines up, right? That's how I look at it. Frank Humphrey, is good to see you. Free bird, nothing like a dog toot. No, for real though. If you have not had the pleasure, I would not suggest that you go seek it out. That's for sure. Mo Love says, "I'm actually in a really good place right now." I'm so happy to hear that. I've been doing the THC therapy and have had like breakthroughs emotionally. And I feel like I'm finally beginning to forgive and forget my family. Hey, I tell you what, you know, when we do talk about THC, we don't ever talk about this side of it, right? You're saying that you're finally beginning to forgive and forget your family. There is an element of, what's that song Bob Marley does? Don't worry, be happy, right? There is an element of just feel good, right? That comes with the THC. And, you know, it could be used to run from my problems. I could tell you, I've done a lot of it. But, you know, it's not to say that it can't be used properly. Some people, so that's some people's medicine. You know what I mean? And maybe, Mo, maybe you found your medicine. And that is a victory. That's a big friggin' deal. I've got all kinds of stuff on my desk because I've just been sitting here all day. That's a big friggin' deal, Mo. I'm so happy. The last time we spoke, I was really worried. I don't have the ability to email you, and because I don't have your email address. And I feel like we always talk about getting in communication, and then it never happens. So I'm really glad to hear that things are going well. That makes me super happy. You've been on my mind a lot lately. Don't worry about a thing because every little thing is going to be all right. That's right. You know the deal. That's right. Barbie MO4, what's going on? Almost bedtime. Yeah, it's definitely almost my bedtime too. But since the Admiral is taking a nap, I figured I'd take his spot. I do love getting in his spot now and again. It's cool to switch it up, right? The morning show is wonderful, but doing novel things, right? I've done the evening before, but it's not something I normally do. So it feels really good to get in there and then try something new or try something that isn't my regular, right? Sweet Liberty says, "That's fantastic." Yeah, we all agree. We're super happy. We love you, Mo. We want you to feel good and be good. And I remember the last time we spoke, that wasn't the case. Satku, I don't believe I've ever said hello to you. Hello there. Welcome in. Plops down with a bag of marshmallows. I tell you what, that thumbnail made me want to make s'mores real bad. I might have to go get some Hershey's, some marshmallows, and some graham cracker tomorrow. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I was going to read that, Jamie Palmer, but I'm not entirely sure I want to after reading it in my head. But thanks for sharing. Being honest, I actually ate a shroom I was given the other night, says Tommy Bird. Had been so many years and was only one big shroom, probably a gram. Everything went kind of cartoony. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot of that stuff. And it's interesting. Sometimes you'll eat one as you did, and nothing will happen. And in my experience, I take that as a sign that I don't need it, right? Whatever power controls the mushroom. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I take it as a sign that I don't need any medicine from the mushrooms at that point, right? It has been many, many years since I've indulged in such a thing. But I used to abuse mushrooms pretty heavily. And when I say abuse, I just mean I was using it to have a good time rather than to balance anything out or to learn something or, to gain a new perspective. I was just using it to party, right? We talk about hallucinogens sometimes in regards to they're hard to abuse, right? You can't do acid every day. It's just going to stop working. And the same goes for mushrooms. But also sometimes mushrooms just don't get you high because, like I said, in my opinion, you don't need them. And your body says, I guess we're cool, which is so interesting. Also, fun fact, psilocybin, you can't measure the amount of psilocybin in a mushroom by the weight of the mushroom. It is randomly allocated. And what I mean by that is it's not a weight to psilocybin ratio. It doesn't work like that. You could have two of the exact same mushrooms and they'll have completely different levels of psilocybin in them. Very, very curious stuff, I have to say. There's not a whole lot of substances out there that are that way, that are organic, which I find very fascinating. Emotional sobriety rocks, says Freebird. Who knew there was such a thing as a balanced emotional middle ground? I tell you what, I feel like balance is the eternal struggle. That's what I'm always searching for, what I'm always reaching for, what I'm always trying to improve on, right? I definitely have a tendency to swing to the extremes. And even when I find balance in something, something else is out of balance, right? I feel like this is definitely part of my life that I will forever be a student of, learning balance. Does the same go for THC, says Mo Love? Like, will the therapy stop working soon? No. You will build a little bit of a tolerance. How much are you using, Mo? Are you using constantly? That was the wrong way to say that. Are you using regularly? What kind of partaking are you doing? If you regularly use it, it will build up tolerance. But if you smoke once a day, it most likely will be the exact same every time. And I don't know if it's just for me or if everyone's this way, because everyone's body's different, right? I can only speak for myself. But if I take 24 hours off, in the past when I had done so, it would be like smoking for the first time again when I finally got back around to it. When I took 2 years off, when I got sober the first time through AA, I got so high when I finally smoked that it was uncomfortable. So your tolerance will diminish very, very quickly by taking breaks. So I mean, I feel like 10 milligram gummies a day, you probably won't experience any sort of tolerance building, but pay attention, right? If you do feel like it's hitting you less, maybe take a day off, right? And I promise you the next day, it'll just be like brand new again. That's just, which is the beautiful thing about it. Mischief managed. Good to see you. Barbie says, I'm a lightweight, 5 milligram gummies, and I'm good. Mine also had 5 CBD along with the 5 milligram THC. The other cannabinoids that are in marijuana are very interesting. CBD and THC are not the only cannabinoids, and they all have very unique effects. They're all kind of in the same similar vein, right? But it's quite an interesting and wild plant. Man, that one eyebrow, I can't stop it. Please, chill. Yeah, absolutely, Mo. I'm glad you found something that works. THC can be magic. It really can. And honestly, at worst case scenario, if you do end up abusing it, you're just gonna lose a little bit of motivation and be happy. You know what I mean? Like it's not the worst case scenario is pretty all right. It's really hard to hurt yourself doing such things. I'm not gonna say impossible because where there's a will, there's a way, but. What's the difference between CBD and THC? Well, let's break it down. I'm going to pull up some information. There are a lot of cannabinoids. So THC is tetrahydrocannabinol, and that's the psychoactive ingredient found in marijuana, right? So that's what gets you high. CBD is somewhat of a painkiller. It doesn't have any THC in it, so it's not going to get you high at all. But do I have it right here? I think I do. It might be in my room because I was using it on my sciatica. I have some cream that's just pure CBD, and it works amazing. It works wonders. When my hips get really, really, really painful in my sciatica, I don't know what else it is. I bet it's my psoas, but I have some hip issues, right? So when it gets out of control, CBD will just, and I use a cream, but you can smoke it, you can eat it, there's all kinds of different ways to do so. But as far as the other cannabinoids, I'm not as educated on the subject. But I mean, they all have their own flavors. They all have their own unique, like a lot of them do have THC in them. CBD does not inherently have THC in it. But we're just beginning to understand weed. I mean, when my dad talks about it, he talks about kind bud from back in the day, right? That is not what they're selling at the dispensary. I promise you that. The stuff they're selling is way, way, way higher content of THC. Yeah, and the CBD has a lot of health benefits other than being a painkiller. Thank you for mentioning that, Barbie. Sometimes I get lost in my head a little bit and I forget the details there. While we're talking about forgiveness and family, is it okay to not forgive family members if they really grinded your gears? You know what, Satku? You get to choose whatever you want. There have been times in my life where I had sworn that I would never speak to family members again, or that like they were dead to me. And, that's not where I'm at anymore, right? Things have changed. But I think that whatever you're feeling in your heart is okay. That's what I think. And we could break down the details, but that's your own personal stuff. And I think that you're a sovereign individual. You're a sovereign soul. So you get to decide what situations you put yourself in. You get to decide who is in your space, who you welcome into your space, right? All of the above. So, I can think of a million examples of situations where I wouldn't want family members around me at all ever, or situations where I wouldn't even want contact. I wouldn't even want to speak or have them know where I live or anything like that, right? So, I guess it's all up to you. I don't think that we don't have to submit to other people's will, regardless. Obviously, there's a ton of gray area in there, right? Like what exactly is going on, and what family members are they, and how long ago did these events happen, et cetera, et cetera. But all of those answers are for you to like analyze, right? I can't. I definitely cannot make that decision for you. And depending on how you go about cutting contact or not forgiving, you can always change your mind later, right? I wouldn't rush forgiveness. If you're not ready, don't do it. Forgiveness isn't saying I forgive you. Forgiveness is in the heart. Forgiveness is something that we feel. Obviously it totally helps to tell someone, hey, I forgive you, right? It's very nice to hear on the receiving end as well. Like, okay, that's great because I was stressing about that. Thanks for telling me that kind of thing. But if you're not ready, don't go out of your way to do so, right? Everything happens in its own divine timing, 100%. Barbie's made her own pain cream. Mad scientist in the kitchen. You'll have to send me some notes on that because this stuff is expensive. And I'm going to run out here soon. I don't want to buy more. If I can make it myself, I'm going to make giant tubs of it. And maybe I'll have a lifetime supply. Tommy Bird says, if I smoke weed anymore at all, I freaking get high and get super uncomfortable even by myself. This is what I'm talking about. I'll get back to that, but I use a cream on my elbows and it really helps more than anything. It's got both THC and CBD though, and now that you're mentioning that, the cream that I have might have some THC in it, but it doesn't get me high. It just takes my pain away. But that's what I mean. When I quit smoking for those 2 years, when I first got sober way back in the day, when I finally did smoke again, it was extremely uncomfortable, like existential anxiety kind of high, right? Like I was questioning every move that I was making. I was double second guessing, triple guessing. And honestly, I've been so stoned I could hear my hair grow. No joke. It's not a comfortable way to be 100%. I know they say that as a joke, but I've literally been there. I've also, well, we don't need to get into war stories. I'm not trying to glorify anything here, right? Mo Love says, I'm deciding to forgive them for myself and forget them for myself. Oh, I love this. They blamed me for and said I must have done something to provoke it. I was 9. Yeah, screw them. That's how I feel about all that. And you know, my dad gave me some really bang up advice back in the day when I was living with my uncle after getting kicked out. So maybe my senior year, 17, 18, something like that. 17, when I was 17. And he said there are two kinds of apologies. There are the ones that we, wait. Yeah, they're the ones that we say to gain forgiveness, and there are those apologies that we say to forgive ourselves. And I don't know. Apology doesn't seem like the right word there. I feel like I might have mixed some information up in my head, which happens. But I'm really stoked that you're choosing to do this for yourself. That makes me really happy. Is what I'm trying to say with all of that. I'm a little bit tired. I get loopy at night. Kristen says, forgiveness is for you, to help you let go of the past and move forward, not to absolve the other party of what they did. There we go. See, you've got the words. I'm just struggling tonight. Cheaper making your own? I imagine so. Vats of it, Spanx. I'm telling you, just dive in. Although that might not be very healthy. It does smell literally exactly like skunks. And there are levels to this. Not all weeds are created equal. Some of them smell really bad. There's some stuff that I used to call poop weed, and it smells so skunky it doesn't even smell good. Like for those that partake regularly, they probably enjoy that smell, right? I used to enjoy that smell quite a bit. But you know, it can definitely hit levels of skunk that just you turn your nose up at. No, you're not disrupting the conversation. You are the subject, which is totally fine. No, we're happy you're here, Mo. Boom, boom, boom. I looked up just now. There's a roach on my ceiling. How come that? How do they stick to the ceiling? I don't understand. Do they have like little claws or something? What's going on with that? I don't get it. I can't stick to the ceiling. That would be a pretty sweet power. Yo, all right, let's have some fun. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? I'll tell you mine. I would breathe underwater. I know that's like the weirdest, most mundane, lamest power, but I would love to just be underwater all the time. That would be so cool. And if for some reason I couldn't breathe underwater, I would teleport, not fly. I would rather teleport. What about you? Jason P would be invisible. Okay, that's a good one. The Invisible Man. Would it be like the Invisible Man in the movies where you have to be naked, or would it be like you can just become invisible? What movie is that? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He has to be naked to be invisible. So silly. I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? If it's like a skin reflection thing or whatever, like if it has to do with that, and it's not some like ethereal force. Andrea Malloy also would be invisible. Mind reading, says Kristen Melinda. I feel like that would get way out of control for me. I feel like I already feel like I look at some people sometimes and get more information than I bargained for without even exchanging words. If I could read people's minds, I might drive myself crazy. But I respect it. I respect it. Barbie says, I want to fly. My mom would always say that too when I asked her this question. This used to be one of my favorite games when I was a kid. Cheeky Bratka would also fly, so I could go visit family. That would be pretty sweet. I feel like the act of flying would be a lot of fun, but if I could just teleport, just boop, I'm somewhere else. I think that would be sweet. Just instantaneous. Totally need to be naked, says Andrea. Let's go. I mean, where's the fun if you still have your clothes on, huh? No, I think it would be a lot simpler if I didn't have to get naked to be invisible. But, I don't get to choose how the superpowers work, Casey says, be able to read, write, and speak all languages, past and present. Holy cow. I've never even considered that. That's pretty wild. I'm pretty into that. Tommy Bird would be totally invincible. Total invincibility. I like that too. Does that come with super strength, or you're just indestructible? I believe there's a button that says membership. I've never done it myself, so I'm not certain, but I believe there's one that says join us, or I bet you if I look at it, I can find out. Yeah, I believe there's a button that says subscribe or become a member. That's what it says. Become a member. That's how you become green. Vixen, good to see you. Hello, hello. It would be very cool to morph into animals. Do you remember those books, Animorphs, Kristen? Way back in the day? Yeah, the underwater breathing. I feel so at home in water. I love swimming, surfing. I just like being in water. I'm not great at floating. I've tried to float my entire life. I'm not a great floater, but I'm a decent swimmer, and I love being in the water. If I just didn't have to come up for air, that'd be pretty cool. I would build an underwater kingdom, although I feel like I would have to talk to animals. Otherwise, they would eat me. You know what I mean? I feel like I would have to be able to befriend the fish. Otherwise, I would be a stranger in a strange land. Danette says, my dad passed July 28th, and all he asked for was for me and my twin sis to be sisters again. I'm struggling with her betrayal. Haven't spoken in 8 years. Any suggestions? Interesting. These kinds of things are deep and complicated. I totally understand wanting to fulfill your dad's dying wish. But at the end of the day, if it's going to harm you, you can't do it, right? I don't know what the situation is. I don't know what her betrayal is, but I have a really hard time with betrayal. Sometimes I feel betrayed, and it's just my ego being damaged, right? Sometimes I feel betrayed, and really there's something more going on. So I don't know what the situation is, Danette, but if it's going to harm you, if it's going to, and I don't even mean just physical harm, like if it's going to harm you on the inside, don't do so. I mean, if you can make your dad's dying wish a reality, like obviously go for it, right? But I mean, I assume it's not so simple, otherwise you would have done so already. Tommy Bird says just indestructible. No need for super strength, really, if nothing hurts you. That's true. That is true, because then ultimate peace, right? The peace within. Mo, I have the same issue with my phone. My next phone's not going to be an iPhone, I tell you that. I'm so done with it. Super done with it. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm super far up in chat, y'all. Yeah, totally. I'd be Aquaman, which is funny because when I was a kid, I thought he was the lamest superhero, and he kind of is the lamest superhero. But I just want to breathe underwater. That's really it. You can't drown if you're totally invincible. Yeah, so I guess you would also technically, I don't know if you'd be able to breathe under there, but you wouldn't die. That's for sure. Weather manipulation, says Freebird. That's pretty neat. Just like bring down the thunder and the lightning. That would be fun. I have how does it work? When I go to install an app or download an app, it has me type my password in, and it says that I have like a payment issue with something, And I'm pretty sure that the app it's referring to, I do not intend to pay for, but it tried to like auto charge me. And because I won't pay it, it won't let me install any apps. So I guess let me be specific. That's my specific issue. I think I'm going to break down and just pay the thing and then cancel it. But it's pretty ridiculous. Like I got a scale, a body weight scale that will tell me my body mass index and all kinds of fun stats by running electricity through my feet. And I need the app for it, and I can't download the app because of this issue. So something's gonna have to give. No, it's all right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're dealing with it. iPhones are too smart for their own good. They're definitely smarter than me. Tommy Bird says to Danette, I suggest you try for your dad's sake. Just try, and if it doesn't work, your dad would understand. My mom wished for me to start talking to my dad again. Glad I did. Our relationship is great now. Wow, cool. Thank you for sharing that. That is more than I could have said, for sure. It's interesting. This and this are different. I have chat over here and I have chat over here. And this one has the current iteration, and this one just has everything. Super curious. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes things get deleted in both places, but not today, I guess. Chris Hart says they need help with the memberships. Let me pull it up on my end, and maybe I could even stream it. What do I do? I hit this button. There we go. I'm gonna put it over here so I can still look at you guys. Dun, 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 dun. So when I click join, maybe I should click on the video that we're watching, huh? Okay, so right under the window right here where I'm at, it says the lifeboat. It says how many subscribers we have. And then just to the right of that, it says join. If I hit join, I get to choose my level of commitment. And then I hit join again. I hope it doesn't charge me. Yeah. And then it will charge you. It'll give you the opportunity to put payment information in. So I think that's pretty straightforward. If you need me to stream it, let me know. I can show you. But I think it's pretty easy. I mean, just right under me. Where's my hand? Just right here. There's a join button. And then a window will pop up right here. Mic is in the way. A window will pop up right here, and we'll hit join again. And while we're at it, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It makes a big difference. If y'all have noticed, we've been picking up speed, and that's because you guys have been hitting the like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications 100%. So I really appreciate that. We love you. I'd be a great Aquaman, right? I would be super down. I don't know about the scaly tights, but I'll try anything once. Yeah, smartphones do tend to make us kind of dumb people. You remember in school they said you won't have a calculator in your pocket all the time? They were wrong. And for that matter, I am much worse at basic math now. It's not really my thing. I used to be a math whiz. I remember learning my multiplication tables. I was a bad mofo. I was really, really good. And I just don't have to practice anymore. So, boop, it's gone. Have to X out of the chat to see it, says Casey. It's probably presented differently on all different devices, depending on if it's a computer, a phone, or an iPad or something like that, a tablet. Every device that I access YouTube from has a different view and different options, and it's maddening. This platform's held together with toothpicks and bubble gum, I swear. But I'm very grateful to the red button, the great big red button. So I'm not trying to talk mess about them, but you know, if you could have a uniform presentation on all platforms, that would be pretty sweet. You know, like a little standardized presentation. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, Deanna, I don't think I would speak to your half brother either. I don't like him. I've never met him. I don't even like him. Looking good in green. Let's go. Owning a seahorse, riding a seahorse. Imagine riding a giant seahorse. Whatever sea creatures are in the deep, deep depths, if I was Aquaman, best believe I would bring them with me to places. Like a giant squid, some crazy alien stuff. Although the seahorse, I'll suffice with the seahorses. One of my favorite Pokemon was Kingdra, the dragon seahorse thing. There's actually a couple seahorse Pokemon now. I forget what the other one's called. It has way too many vowels and G's in its name, but there's like a poison water seahorse Pokemon now. I think it was, don't quote me, but I believe it was Pokemon X and Y if you're into that kind of thing. And they had this weird purple seahorse. Well, I'm running out of steam. Do you guys see that? I was really into sharks when I was a kid. Do they still do Shark Week? I haven't watched Shark Week in like 10, 15 years, something like that. But it used to be a regular thing. Like every time it was Shark Week, we were watching sharks. My dad would watch it with me way back in the day. It was a good time. It was a good family activity. Legos and sharks. I was a Lego pro. When is Shark Week? I need to get back on that Shark Week train. I might have to let you guys go. I'm getting real tired. We'll hang out for a little longer, huh? So in the morning, I don't have a plan yet. Maybe I'll make a plan after this, but are there any topics you guys would like to talk about? Is there anything troubling the crew? Is there something that we haven't touched on in a while that I've forgotten about? Or is there a novel concept that you would also like me to speak on? Because if not, I'm just going to run with something that I want to do. But I always like to try and cater to the crew members here. If there's something that's been bugging you, something that's been on your mind, something that you've been wondering about, or just something you're curious about, please let me know. Either here in the chat or in the comments after the show. And I will go ahead and put a show together about it. Sometime in July. All right. Well, that's right around my dad's birthday. So that being said, you know what we'll be doing next July? I'm gonna sleep like a baby, Danette McClure. You know, I said that once upon a time to someone. I said I'm gonna sleep like a baby, and they said, "What? You're gonna wake up and poop yourself every couple hours?" I said, "No, no, that's not what I meant." I'm pretty sure it was our good friend Aryeh that said that to me. Actually, shout out to Aryeh. Love you, dude. Hope your whole family's doing well. We miss you all the time. You looked it up, didn't you, Kristen? I appreciate that very much. Like a hibernating bear. There we go. Although I might wake up 3 months from now. Yeah, we can do boundaries, Cheeky, for sure. In navigating difficult family relationships, I feel like if I were to do a show on that, I would have to like share, or not have to. I feel like the way I would go about it would be sharing personal experiences, right? And we can get into some grimy details about the homeless shelter bit, right? And being dropped off by my family and how I worked through that. So that might be a good one. We can definitely, boundaries is one of my favorite topics. Maybe we'll start with the navigating difficult family relationships, though. I think that's a good one. I really like that. Thank you. Whine a little bit more. I really appreciate that. You're right, though. There is a lot of talk about that recently. And, you know, family stuff's hard. Family stuff's got to be the hardest because, I mean, they're family, right? I don't know if that really needs explanation more, but it's just extra hard. Free will, says Hill, hath no fury. Do we have it, or is it all hormones and other chemistry? Interesting. I think that we always have a choice. That's what separates the lifeboaters from the Diddies of the world. You know what I mean? I was pondering the other day out loud on stream when I was telling my story about how plenty of people have very traumatic upbringings and then turn into serial killers, right? And that's not me, right? I had a big traumatic upbringing and I became a good person. What separates me from the serial killers, right? What separates me from the sociopaths? Well, I think it's choice. I think it's that we all have choices, right? I think that I was subjected to some trauma and it sparked an awakening of sorts, consciousness. And I think that part of that is choice. I think part of it is choosing not to sink deeper, but to rise above. But who knows? That is also a very interesting concept, Hill. I really dig that. I appreciate that. That's also, I think that's kind of like a destiny versus like a fated versus a free will kind of conversation. I think that's very interesting. We'll have to put that one on the list as well. Oh, thank you so much, Satku. You are the best. You know, I'm just doing what I can. And if I didn't enjoy doing this so much, you probably wouldn't see me. So I'm super grateful that it's fun. I'm super grateful that it has an impact. And I'm super grateful that I found this chair and this boat and, you know, that my dad put me to work here because it has changed my life. It has changed my life forever. I will never be the same. All right, on that note, I think I am going to get out of here. We do have CODA in the US. I actually went to CODA with a girlfriend of mine for a little while, which is kind of ironic, but all right, y'all. Much love. I'm gonna shut her down. We'll see you in the morning, bright and early. You know the time. And yeah, you guys are the best. Have a great night. Sleep well, all right?